Hello, my name is Ryan Yoakum, and I'm the business librarian here at Belmont. Today, we're going to be talking about IBISWorld and its specific application to the Principles of Marketing course. IBISWorld will be very helpful when it comes down to industry research. So for example, if I'm interested in ice cream stores, what IBISWorld is going to tell me is what are the general trends happening throughout the nation when it comes to ice cream stores. You can also get sometimes state data as well, but those general national trends are what we're going to primarily find in IBISWorld. If I am on the research guide for marketing on the library webpage, I'm going to go to the industry research tab, and then I'm going to click on IBISWorld. And then we'll see at the very top right here, the search bar to search for our industry. We can search for our industry in one of two ways. We can either type in the name or we can put in the NAICS code. I'm going to type in the name for this example because one thing that IBISWorld actually has is for industries that do not necessarily have a formalized NAICS code, you'll see this OD right here. And that will symbolize either a new industry that hasn't had time to develop a NAICS code since the last one came out, or it's an industry that doesn't typically fall into a normal NAICS code itself. And so I'd recommend starting with the name of the industry, but you can also use this to reverse engineer and to find out what your NAICS code may be. So we'll click on that. And now we have a whole report that will discuss the industry as a whole. This report was written by a person, and we can see right here that the report was published in January 2024. All these reports come out every few months, and so you'll see no report that's older than a year. You can also download the report on the right side by clicking the Download Report. The start of this will give us a summary of what's going on in the industry, including a couple of statistics about the revenue, employees, businesses, and profit. We can also see where it's been the past 5 years and where it's expected to head, and then also a little bit of a narrative on the left side. If we scroll down as well, we get a little bit of a SWOT analysis about the industry as too. If we go down further, we can actually get more detailed information. So we saw all of these at the top of the page, but we can get more information about what's going on. And a unique thing that you'll actually see is right here, this graph. We do not only see information up to the current year, but we also get a forecast of what's expected for future years. So this one goes up to 2028, for example, and we can use that to see where the industry is heading and are expected to head over the next few years. If we scroll down a little bit further, we actually get a narrative describing these trends and seeing what's influencing that industry. So in this case, for example, it looks to be the pandemic. There's a section on healthy eating, and we will get to see a couple of different aspects about the society as a whole that are influencing that industry. If we go to the left right here, which we can use to navigate the report, I'm going to go to geographic breakdown, and we can actually see a concentration of where the industry is most and least heavily influenced in the different parts of the United States. So we see, for example, a lot in California, a few here in Texas, New York. Tennessee has a couple, but not as much as some of the other states. But one thing I wanted to mention too is that in certain reports, you can also click on the state and get a detailed report about what that industry looks like in the specific state. Not all the reports have this, such as this one, but there are other reports for other industries that I've seen that you can click on the industry itself. So I'd highly recommend that whatever page that lands on for your industry, that you click on that to see if you can get the state data too. I'm going to lastly scroll down to companies and get a little bit of information on the different companies that are in this industry. It's not a whole extensive list. You can see, for example, right here, 99.7 are just other companies. But I've seen other lists that do a better breakdown, and you can actually get the company information right down here. One more thing I wanted to show before I leave is less about things for this class and more for your personal use, is that if you go to the very bottom, you can actually see these call preparation questions. When you finish your time at Belmont, I highly recommend finding the industry that you're interested in pursuing and going into that IBISWorld report, as these are really good questions to ask during your job interview. You'll often get a question about, do you have any questions for us? And these are really great questions to ask, both to show your competency in the industry that you're interested in pursuing, as well as demonstrating whether you would want to work for that company or not based on how they respond. That's all I have for IBISWorld, but if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to help you navigate for your specific industry. Thank you very much.